let me have a look at TRVL, because that's the flavor of the month, or soon will be when we go to the moon. Let's have a look. Haven't looked at it since yesterday, not really. What have I got here? Some higher levels. Daily chart yesterday. It looks like we're ranging in the highs of this range now. So I think I did it on gate actually. So let me just go to the gate chart. And was that it? Nope. Ranges, that's it. Let me have a look here. So we have this higher time frame trend line, which I was able to draw from this line chart. And the 3-day and the day, the chart, they show different kind of like precise points. This is the 3-day chart. And you can clearly see that we are coming into it now. There's still no break. We're just waiting for that to happen to see if that will come or not. Okay, so this is a really good place to be honest with you, even though we're not there yet. It's a good place to be because only one of two things can really happen now. It either goes up or it goes back down. And I think most people who are in TRVL won't mind either way. Like I really don't, I want it to go up, but I don't mind if it goes down simply because I'm looking to buy lower prices. So for me, that would be a gift, a real gift. And I think it'd be very difficult now, considering the last few months of price action, for the price not to be snapped up at lower prices at 3 cents or above, between 3 and 4 cents. I think it'd be very difficult for the price to get down below 3 cents. Yeah. So I wouldn't necessarily think that's a problem, but War's saying he wants it to go down. But also we're at a place now where we could get some kind of breakout. We could get a breakout. It would have to be with volume. I don't want to see a low volume rise. That would not be healthy, because the first sign of a low volume rise, the minute people start to take profit, then you could potentially see something like this. And I don't like that so much. I don't think that's very nice. You'd still be in the same position, but potentially this will go a little bit lower because you'll get more aggressive selling, because you have the take profits selling, plus if the price goes down, people will start getting bearish and they'll start selling. It will still result in the same kind of potential behavior. It just means you have to break from this line a little bit later and a little bit lower. Okay, so there are some things that could happen. No one can predict the future, but we are at a critical point, and it does look like it could break out. I don't know, who knows. So that's the line chart. Let me just go back to candles. Let me get rid of that trend line. And then the other thing that I want to see, and I think I want to see this on all the charts, is I think a real sign of strength is getting back into this range. And I've said this before, this was like a 4-month range back in 2022. And basically, if you get back into this range, you've reversed 1.5 years of bearish price action. That's what that means. You can just ignore all of this chart and just imagine you're back here. Ready to go up. Yeah, that's what you can pretty much do. You can pretty much ignore everything and just, we're back in that range. I think that would be really amazing if we were able to do that. Now there's two types of way that you can draw out this range. You can do it from when we lose the top level there to when we lose this lower level here. So technically, and this is on gate, let me zoom in a bit so I can get this more accurate. So you see that daily candle where we lose 9 cents. You could do it from there to where we lose the bottom of the range here. So on gate, technically, we are back in that range. See that? Technically, we're back in the range. Yeah. Or you could do it just this lower part. So ignore the first bit. And if you were to do that, we're just underneath it. It's like a much, much tighter range. Okay. I think I like the, actually just looking at it now, I think I like the wider range personally. I like it where it's hard because for a short period of time, we're back up into the higher numbers. And there is a bit of volume here. See that? So let me just do this on the other charts as well. I'll do it on KuCoin first to see if I see anything different. I'll do exactly the same thing. So you've got your 9 cent mark, wherever that is. Okay, that's your key level. And I'll do a volume range pull from the candle which enters the lower range, which is this big candle here, through to the candle that leaves this lower range, which is this red candle here. And so this is basically saying the same thing. You see that? So according to this, it does look like we're back into that volume range, a slightly wider range. And then you do have a point of control of the previous range, which is basically lying at 6 cents. So that's going to be from a previous range perspective, 6 cents is going to be your next kind of significant resistance on the way up. And I'm just going to look on gate to see if that's the same. That's about the same, 6 cents. I can quickly look at MEX as well to see if that's saying the same thing. Delete these now. I'll do exactly the same. So it's good to do this because if all the exchanges are saying the same thing, then it gives us a added confluence between the exchanges. So it's probably that candle that goes down to this candle that leaves the bottom of the range. So on MEX, you've got a much smaller volume area, which is different to the other two exchanges that I just did. And there you go. The point of control of this range is at 6 cents. And just because I've done all three, let me just do Bybit as well. So we have a complete picture of the next significant resistance level. I'll do exactly the same thing. So I'll draw my key level at 9 cents. And then the candle that takes us into the lower area, I'll do a volume pull from that candle through to the candle that leaves this lower range. So yeah, so this is telling us the same thing. We're back into, according to this, we're back into this previous range volume area. And on Bybit, the point of control is slightly lower at 5.9 cents. So I would say that our next kind of area of resistance is going to be about the 5.9 to 6 cents level. And potentially that makes sense because that corresponds with this daily level here. Do you see these candles where it's flat green and then flat red and then the price reverses? See, it goes up and then reverses. And so at that level where it squares off, you can draw a line and then you can name that your daily level like that. And I would expect that to be our next significant resistance to the upside. Let me just do a fib as well. There isn't really a fib that matches. You've got the golden pocket, which is slightly higher up. Okay. Let me just have a look at KuCoin because we had the big breakout was on KuCoin. Yeah. So you see on KuCoin, the golden pocket is actually at 6 cents. Okay. And the way I'm calculating the fib pool is from this pivot high up there to the low after it came down. So I'm doing a fib pool from the top to the bottom, and you can see clearly that 6 cents is the KuCoin golden pocket. And then when you correspond that to this previous range, this is a significant range. Don't ignore this range, yeah? This was like 4 months of price action. And we have to reverse the whole range. And to reverse the whole range, we have to first get back into the range, which it looks like we have achieved. Well done. Let's pat ourselves on the back. And then now we just have to do what the price has to do. It just has to consolidate and flip levels from resistance into support. And so what's interesting about this previous range is that the point of control of this previous range, yeah, and I'm going to mark it. To previous range point of control. And actually, just for the sake of consistency, let me mark the value area low as well. Good to have that. And I'll mark the value area high too. Value area high is coming at just underneath 9 cents. So probably just ignore that. I think 9 cents will be the key level to the upside. And so now when I'm zooming in on the price action with those new lines in place, you can clearly see that where we are. So we're back into the previous range value area low. So as long as we hold that, that's good. We're under the 50% of this fib extension and fib retracement. So next step would be to get back above the 50%, and then you're into resistance. The resistance is going to be the previous range point of control. Even though the liquidity has been taken once, and the reason why the liquidity was taken was because of this push up, and it's actually been taken twice. So if you look at this push up, so this extension here, do you see this expansion here? So we've cleared the liquidity from this whole range on 2 separate occasions, once there and once there. Okay, so there isn't that much liquidity left in this previous range, but it doesn't mean it's insignificant. And the reason why it's not insignificant is because although on KuCoin the daily levels are a little bit lower, so just bear that in mind. So actually, when you look at KuCoin, the daily level is at the 50%, which we've already cleared and tested almost 3 times. Okay, so there's a slight divergence in the daily level between the different exchanges. On KuCoin, it's slightly lower. I think it was on Bybit that it corresponded a bit higher. Yeah, so there's a little bit of divergence in where the daily levels are, depending on the exchanges. On Gate, we've cleared it. And on MEX, it's higher. Okay, so MEX and Bybit, you have the daily level of those 2 exchanges at the previous range point of control and at the golden pocket. And then on Gate and KuCoin, which have the most volume at the moment, we are into the daily level. Okay, that being said, I think what I'm expecting potentially, unless we have a crazy breakout, and no one can predict that, I am expecting that we somehow get above this level, flip it into support, and then we're into resistance, which is going to be this area, and then we might, let's see if we can consolidate here before we try and make our way up. Okay, that's kind of what I'm expecting or hoping for, and that would be kind of pricey, healthy price action within the remit of the way the price has been behaving. Obviously, if there's a significant change, it would be an impulsive breakout, but I can't predict that, and that can happen anytime. Basically, you just need someone to inject volume into this token. That's when you're going to get a breakout, because then you've got people on the sidelines hoping for lower. They're going to FOMO in. We're not there yet. We're not there yet where people are FOMOing in because of the price action. The price action is very nice, very steady, and it's quite healthy. And so naturally, people are just kind of selling a little, skimming from the highs and kind of scaling back into the lows. Yeah. And I think that would be quite a good strategy. So if anyone wants to do that, when it gets to about 6 cents, you can sell a little bit. Yeah. Sell a little bit. And then when it comes back down to 5.2 cents, buy a little bit, buy it back in, buy back in, you know. Now I think that would be quite a healthy strategy for most people to employ. And when I talk about skimming, I'm literally talking about skimming 5%, 10% maybe, you know. It's not a big deal to skim a little bit, because if the price does that, most of your position's still in. It's not a big deal, you know. Then the next time there's a big dip, you can put that back in and you take a little bit of loss, but it's a loss of future unrealized gains. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal to do that. And I think if everyone got into the habit of doing that, we can create more volume, which is what we do need. We need more volume, trading volume for the future, for later on when it comes to launching on higher tier exchanges. They look at that. They look at the data. So I've got a really key level here at about 6 cents, between 5.9 and 6 cents. And I think that would be quite a good level where people could maybe skim a little bit and then put it back in lower. Okay. I think that's TRVL. Now I do want to just quickly go to the Telegram, just because we had an update today, and I'm just going to read the update, just because not everyone is on the Telegram, and it just helps to get everyone up to date with the information. Can you see that? So let's have a look. Let me close all this. And look at this. New operator sign up, new booking processed, new booking process. Look, this is good. Good to see stuff like this. We like that. Someone's asking about DPIN. I've been trying to understand how is Dtravel a DPIN, and then I think Cynthia answers, no? I'm not sure. I thought she did. Oh, here it is. Who answers? Oh, James answered. Here's a helpful article that explains what DPIN means if you're interested. And he's going to write a blog post. Okay, that's good. Well done, James. Anything else that's interesting? Okay, here's the update. Hello, Dtravel community. Okay, highlight one product. So this week was spent scoping out the launch of Dtravel's second ecosystem application. This application will allow anyone to discover listings with search powered by Sensei AI, view and manage booking history, access TRVL staking growth campaigns, and much more. Continued work on Dtravel for operators, including minor changes. Okay, that's good. So the product development, business development. So there's a little bit of delay on the bridge. It should be done in the next 2 days. And they are building partnerships primarily focused on partners relating to the Night protocol and the Sensei AI. And then the highlight 3, community and marketing. Last month, there was an announcement which upgraded the booking contracts. I can verify that that's happened. So what that means is that all reservations are stored on chain, whether they're paid by crypto or whether they're paid by fiat. So that's quite a big stepping stone, and that's all done on Polygon, on Matt, using their chain. Okay, there's a few things here. Podcasts, etc. Right. And then here, look, this is important. So I think this is the most important part of this announcement. We appreciate the community's patience as we continue to work on some major announcements, which include the Night protocol, TRVL tokenomics, that's the big one, and then governance, that's the big one. So we have a couple of big upcoming news announcements in the future that we're all anticipating, and they're just apologizing for the delay. And I think the reason why there's a delay is because they just want to do a good job. And so we just have to be patient. And in the meantime, I can tell you that from what I've come to understand, it's going to have the tokenomics is going to give the token value. Now, not everyone is going to be 100% satisfied, but hopefully everyone is going to be 90% satisfied. That's the aim. Yeah, no one's going to be perfectly satisfied at whatever's being proposed. But if everyone is like 90% satisfied, I think that's acceptable. So that's kind of what we're hoping for, 90% satisfaction rating. But it will give the token value, and that's what we want. We want the token to be valued. So once people start to see value in the token in terms of the ability to earn more value and also in the ability to govern, and then I think people are going to start accumulating more aggressively. So that's something. I don't think there's anything else. I won't waste much more time on that. Any questions? I'll go back to the charts. So I think TRVL is quite clear. We know that 6 cents is some kind of level. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Don't like panic if we get a little bit of a, like that. And then the key will be to hold, to go up, to hold. That's what we want to do. We want to continue to reclaim levels. And it's always the same thing with the price action. It's level to level. And I think what I'm seeing now in the price action is continued bullish market structure, continued bullish price action. And you can clearly see from that first stream where I talked about the golden cross, which happened at the beginning of January, from where the price was, where we had that golden cross, where I was telling everyone that this is amazing. The golden cross is game changing for this token. we're already up 67%. Yeah, just from that first signal. It was a signal. And so technically, I mean, not technically, but strategically, you could potentially just huddle until you get a death cross. Potentially, you could, you could just not even think about this. And then the other way you could do, what else you could do is, because every time the price comes back down to the 50 moving average, you can pick up some more, and we can keep on pushing the momentum. All right. So that's TRVL. Let me just have a quick look at the BTC chart. So we've had our golden cross on the BTC chart. And so in the same context, look, if the BTC chart, if the price was to go up 60% from the golden cross, as it did with the USD chart, then the price is going to be there soon, up in the highs here. And actually that would be really good, because we had a few consolidation ranges on the way down. We had a little bit, we had one here, and that kind of coincided with this one. So there is a little bit of a higher consolidation level that we have to get into on the BTC chart, which we haven't got there. So it looks like the USD chart is ahead in terms of the way the price is moving. And that's simply because BTC is also doing quite strong, whereas USD on the whole part is weak. Is there a question? Oh. If it breaks out, will you adjust the trend line, or is it going to which trend line are you talking about? No, I don't. I won't adjust the trend line. If it breaks out, you just look to see if there's any new trend lines. But I think what we want to do when it comes to the higher time frame, and just guys, so you can see what I'm seeing on the 3-day chart, on the USDT chart, the price is now above the 200 moving average. It's clearly holding a support. It was resisting. That was like a fake out, and now we're holding support. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind. And now the 50 moving average, you see that the trajectory of the 50 moving average is in an upward direction. So if that was to potentially continue roughly, and this was to go flat, then we could potentially be seeing a golden cross on the 3-day chart as well in the next 5 weeks or 6 weeks potentially. And if I was to do a 50 period calculation, we're basically losing all of these low values over the next few weeks, all of these low values, and we're replacing them with these higher values. And so I think this 50 moving average is going to continue in the same trajectory, in the same angle. And then if I was to look at the 200 moving average, and if I was to go back 200 periods, so we're losing this range, we're losing the price action from this range, and we're almost, basically we're back in the range. So what I'm expecting with the 200 moving average over the next course of the next few weeks is for the 200 to go, is to go flat. And if that 50 continues, then probably end of March, beginning of April, we'll get a nice golden cross on the 3-day chart, and then I can do like a nice video and golden cross and get everyone even more bullish. So that's in the pipeline. That's what I'm imagining. The other thing to bear in mind is that we have a very important fib time pivot coming up. So I just want to just kind of remind everyone about that fib time. Now, I don't know what that means. Nothing can happen or something can happen. Who knows what can happen? But basically, the fib time that I've calculated, if anyone wants to redraw it, it's from the beginning, the first week, to the significant all-time low, to the first relief rally. And so the 618 corresponded perfectly with this all-time low. And our next fib time that we're looking at is the 3rd week of March. Okay. Wouldn't it be great if we just kind of continued going up, and then on the 3rd week of March we had like a and that would, like, people would be like, oh my god, this fib time is amazing. But then the other possibility is, and I don't want to get anyone bearish, okay, at all, but you are also, with these fib times, that sometimes you get, if the price comes into a major level, it is possible for that to happen too. So just bear that in mind. The fib times aren't bullish or bearish. They just can sometimes indicate an extra level of confluence for when the price does come to a certain point where there's other levels of confluence. Okay, so it's more of a confirmation than anything else. It doesn't necessarily mean, I can't say that the price is going to go to the moon, but the trend line that War was referring to, he's basically talking about, there's a few trend lines actually. So the one that you're referring to is the one that I had on the line chart, which was this. Can't see it on the weekly, so I'll go to the 3-day. And actually I have it here somewhere. And then his question was, if it breaks out, will you adjust the trend line? No, if it breaks out, you don't adjust the trend line. That trend line is there. Okay, that's it. That trend line stays. But what you can do is look for other trend lines. So you just have to see how, like, for example, I have potentially an idea of, you can't see it on this chart. Actually, you should be able to see it on this chart. I've got this channel, which I have in mind. Actually, maybe with these lines, I could adjust it a little bit. Potentially something like that. I don't know exactly where that bottom line is. Or maybe I can get rid of the channel and just do a trend line. I don't know. It's kind of, I don't know how precise this is. Maybe that. And then what you'd want in the future is you want the price to go up and then reclaim it to go up. And that would be really bullish if that was to happen. That'd be extremely bullish. It also looks like an inverse head and shoulders, but that would be really bullish because you're making a higher high here. You're going back to test 9 cents, which is which potentially is a significant SR flip, and then you're going back to reclaim the channel and break out of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, back test the channel to go up, and then you're in a different kind of you're in a totally different kind of channel. And then if I had the one drawn from like, it's slightly different on when I use candles. It's candles, it's slightly different because I'm going from wick to wick, whereas if it's from using the line chart, it's slightly lower. You can see it's slightly lower. So we just have to see how this plays out. We can just keep an eye on it. All right.